Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Performance Excellence USA on News Radio 770 KKOV. Here we are, studios downtown Albuquerque at 770 KKOV, bringing you Performance Excellence USA. We're about advancing performance excellence in New Mexico and across the USA. It's my patriotic duty to do so. You got it, USA. On the show today, we're going to talk about Baldrige in education. What does that mean? Well, we have two very talented folks on this show today who will share their story. Dr. Raina Knox, the President CEO of the Excellence in Missouri Foundation, and we're going to talk about the National Education Baldrige County Community of Excellence. That's what it's called. And also Dr. Joanne Sternke, the superintendent of the Pewaukee School District in the state of Wisconsin. So let's get started, okay? National Education Baldrige Community of Excellence. Dr. Raina Knox is with us on the phone. Dr. Raina Knox. Raina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be able to talk about this initiative.
Excellent. Raina, first of all, you do an awesome job in the state of Missouri and also several other states where you help businesses and organizations just achieve excellence through the Baldrige criteria. For those folks, Raina, who are not familiar with the Baldrige criteria for performance excellence, and especially education, because education is such a hot topic everywhere, every single day. We're hearing about education reform, teacher evaluations, and teachers leaving systems, all those things that are happening across the nation. The data we're not doing well compared to other nations in our whole educational system. So, Raina, we want to come down and focus now on the criteria for performance excellence that helps education systems become better, more effective, more efficient. But in your words, please describe the criteria for performance excellence for the education sector.
The criteria for performance excellence for the education sector allows our educational institutions to take a look at what they do holistically. And I believe one of the biggest benefits that the criteria bring to educational organizations is this concept of integration of the requirements across multiple areas. They have a requirement to run their organizations and their districts in a way that is fiscally responsible, that is ethical. But they also have a very pure mission, which is teaching and learning of our children. And I'm talking K through 12 right now. It also integrates this concept of your approach to how you are working with your customers. In this case, they are students and parents and the community. How are you working with your employees, and what kind of systems are in place to ensure that all elements that must be addressed in order to deliver the best outcomes in student achievement are integrated together. And I believe that's what the Baldrige criteria brings to K through 12 organizations.
Well, very well stated, Raina Knox. And, of course, you have just launched a national effort to get educators across the nation involved and engaged and to understand the holistic system, as you describe it. Tell our listeners about the National Education Baldrige Community of Excellence.
We are so excited about this initiative, and it's something that's been quite a long time coming. In general, the Baldrige Community of Excellence concept was launched several years ago in Missouri, and the basic concept was launched in conjunction with Larry Potterfield of Midway USA, and the very first Community of Excellence was geographically based in Columbia, Missouri. Since that time, we have launched several groups. We have now a total of 5 communities of excellence. Most of them are geographically based. The fourth one we launched was healthcare sector-based, so we're focusing our efforts in healthcare in the St. Louis area. This particular community of excellence is a bit different from the rest of them in that it focuses on education and educating our children on student outcomes. But what our organizations are telling us, the K through 12s that we're working with, They're saying we need comparative information. We need to learn from others in our sectors who are using Baldrige. And in many cases, we don't learn about K-12 organizations who are using Baldrige until they have received at either the state or the national level. Well, what we know in Baldrige is that it is a journey, and it can be a long journey. It's not a race. It's not a sprint. It is a journey. And what frequently happens is that organizations, as they're adopting Baldrige, every organization has something that it does really well. And if we don't have a way to identify that, then others can't learn from it. That was the very basic premise when the national program was started. So when we launched this community of excellence, we were very bold. And we said, okay, this may be typically a Missouri concept, although other states do have similar concepts. But what our customers are telling us, so we're using our own criteria, what our customers are telling us is please provide us not only education on Baldrige topics, and state programs do that. That's part of our core competencies, and we do that, but they want them to be education-focused. And then what they're wanting is they're wanting learning and they're wanting mentoring from other organizations who are using Baldrige. And probably most important from what we are hearing and from the surveys we've conducted is that they want comparisons. They want comparative best practice processes and they want comparative results. And why would we just center that in Missouri or the other states that we serve? Why could we not open this up nationally? And we did that. And we've had some great conversations. We are still forming our mission, but overall the purpose of this community of excellence is to serve as a central point for education organizations to gather virtually, although we do hope as we evolve that we can have some in-person events, but to gather virtually for the purpose of learning, networking, and to seek information about Baldrige practices and results in other organizations.
Well, thank you, Raina. We'll be back to learn more about Baldrige and education. And it's such a hot topic. But here's a very positive approach, a holistic approach to improving our whole educational system. And Dr. Raina Knox is with us on the phone today. We'll be back to learn more. And then also Dr. Joanne Sturkey, the superintendent of Pewaukee School District in Wisconsin, a 2013 Baldrige Award recipient, with us on the show today also. My name is Julia. I lead Quality New Mexico, qualitynewmexico.org, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Performance Excellence USA and News Radio 770 KKOB. Ma'am Julia, thank you so much for joining us today. And education is one of my favorite topics. What can I tell you? And I bet it's a special, very special topic for every one of you listening to this show today, whether you're in New Mexico, Missouri, or California, or Minnesota, or Florida. This is the most important thing we can do, provide the best education for our children. And with us on the show today is Dr. Raina Knox. She is the president CEO of the Excellence in Missouri Foundation, and also taking the lead here with a National Education Baldrige Community of Excellence. And also with us later on in the show, Dr. Joanne Sturkey, the superintendent of Pewaukee School District in the state of Wisconsin. Now, Raina, thanks again for joining us today. Raina, one of the questions that I hear often, what is the incentive for us to do all this? Because oftentimes, Raina, people hear the Baldrige, and they call it sometimes the Baldrige, the journey. It just takes too long. What's the incentive for us to do this? What's your response?
The incentive for this is better student outcomes, and that is a very cliche answer. But if you take this down to the very basic level, and I spend a lot of time in schools working with senior leadership, and when you are walking those hallways and you can see the very faces of the children that we are serving, and you're talking to the teachers who are there to teach and to help our students, there is sweeping reform that is occurring, regulatory changes are being made. Teachers just want to teach, students just want to learn. So when you look at why Baldrige, it is a systems framework that allows you to focus with a laser focus on exactly what you need to do to ensure that your student outcomes are where they need to be. And when you look at student outcomes, just think of the faces of those children that we are trying to serve. Many of these teachers see their students after they grow to be an adult, and they are moving forward, and teaching in the school system changes these children's lives as they become adults. I think it is one of the most honorable missions, and the reason why we should do this is we have an obligation to serve these children to the very best of our ability, and we believe that Baldrige is a great tool with its systems focus.
Oh, I have goosebumps. Thank you, Raina, for sharing that. It's so, so true. Now, you have an incredible champion in the state of Missouri, Larry Potterfield, the CEO of Midway USA, a Baldrige Award recipient. Tell us what Larry is up to.
Well, Larry has been utilizing the Baldrige criteria in his own organization, Midway USA, for many years, and is a highly evolved organization using the criteria. He is a national recipient, and when you walk the plant of Midway USA, the distribution center, you can see Baldrige everywhere. Larry's taken it a step further. He has put on the line for the state of Missouri $1 million that is being held by the Baldrige Foundation to be awarded to the first Missouri K-12 public school district to receive the National Malcolm Baldrige Quality Award. While there was significant interest before that time, the interest continues to increase, and what we know about educators is that they are very collaborative. So the more of the educators that we can bring on board, the more they can work together, the more they learn from one another, which is one of the reasons why we launched the Community of Excellence.
Well, congratulations, Raina, to you, and thank you, Larry Potterfield. Now, we need every state to have a Larry Potterfield, right?
Absolutely.
Raina, what's the starting point? We have educators and superintendents in our state, and certainly states across the nation who have looked at the criteria, and educators have a lot of pressures, lots going on, education reform here, there, everywhere, teacher evaluation. So how do people get started in this process?
We recommend that educational organizations contact their state programs, and every state is served by a state program. We all have different names, but there is a state program serving every single state, and there are services. These organizations are nonprofit services. There are services that are available to state programs to be able to learn what their best approaches are, and every organization chooses a different approach for adopting Baldrige. So we recommend that they contact their state program. We also recommend, if they have interest in gathering with other educators across the nation who are simply interested in learning from one another, I would invite them to join the group that is pulling together the Baldrige Community of Excellence, to be able to learn from others. We have educators who come from recipient organizations all the way to educators who are interested in just learning more. And I believe that very large and diverse group brings a tremendous amount of value to educators who are considering or trying to evolve their Baldrige approaches.
Sure. And Raina, as you know, we're all in the same boat.
We are. We are.
We're all in the same boat. So
We are.
So kind of as you and I know, when you visit with people from other states, similar challenges and so forth. But what an incredible opportunity for us to continue learning. And this whole journey, Raina, you and I know, is continual learning,
It is.
and from each other and best practices. So. When we talk about best practices, share one that our listeners, especially those in the educational community, could benefit from. A best practice in one of the schools, perhaps, that you have in the state of Missouri or the other states that you work with.
Some of the best practices that I see that come to mind most easily are those surrounding leadership and senior leadership, and what we see from the superintendent, the assistant superintendents, the principals. The concept of having open communication, two-way communication, involvement from senior leadership in the classroom. We do a lot of focus groups with education, and what surprised us more than anything else is that teachers want to see their leadership in their classroom. They want to see them evaluating and observing as these teachers are implementing the initiatives that senior leadership is recommending and is requiring. So a best practice is visibility, open and two-way communication, and senior leaders who are very clearly setting the vision and the culture for the organization.
Wow. One more time, communication, right?
Communication, it is so important.
Whether you're in education or business or government or healthcare, any sector, any organization, and families too, right?
Right, absolutely.
Communication. Raina Knox is with us today. She is the president CEO of the Excellence in Missouri Foundation. And Raina also works with several other states and of course, now taking another step and leading the National Education Baldrige Community of Excellence.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is. Blah, blah, blah. Of course, I just had a cupcake. But anyway,
Yes.
So, Raina, what an incredible opportunity for us to share ideas and learn from each other. And for those folks who may be interested in joining this national effort, this national community of excellence focused on Baldrige, what do we need to do?
I would like to recommend that you simply reach out to our organization. And if you go to, actually, I'll just give a phone number if that's acceptable.
Sure.
573-659-1234. Call into the office. Let us know what your interest is. This is not, we are not selling services. We are simply pulling together. We believe we are going to serve as conveners and help organizations collaborate. And one of the most significant outcomes very likely to come out of this is going to be a best practices database across the nation focused on Baldrige best practices and process and results. So if you have interest in participating, even if you want to simply listen in to a meeting or two, 573-659-1234.
Thank you, Raina. One of the items that you talk about is a point of entry could be the core values and the concepts of the Baldrige criteria. Because, before we get into the criteria, just understanding the core values. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I would be happy to. When you look at the core values, they cut across all of the Baldrige categories, and there's 7 categories. But what they do is they pull together those and integrate those categories. And one of the ones that comes to mind for beginning organizations, and there's many, visionary leadership is very important, and that's kind of what I was talking about when we talked about best practices. But another core value is management by fact. And I believe that is one of the most important things that the Baldrige Systems Framework brings to education organizations, this concept of making decisions on educating our children based on fact, based on the requirements of the students, the requirements of the regulatory bodies, the requirements of the parents. So these core values, such as visionary leadership, management by fact, systems focus, pull together the criteria elements, and they integrate the work that the school districts are doing.
Thank you, Raina Knox. One of my colleagues from the Alliance for Performance Excellence, all our state programs. Thank you, Raina. I'm so proud of you, and congratulations. And I look forward to participating in the National Education Baldrige Community of Excellence. And let's see if we can get more people from our state and every state in the nation to participate. Thank you, Raina Knox.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're listening to Performance Excellence USA on News Radio 770 KKOB. Well, and so what are we doing in New Mexico? It's time to recruit applicants for the New Mexico Performance Excellence Awards Program. QualityNewMexico.org has all the info for you. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Performance Excellence USA on News Radio 770 KKOB. Mayama Julia, thank you so much for joining us today. Our topic today is education. You know, my favorite topic, your favorite topic, I bet. And now we have a rock star joining us, Dr. Joanne Sternke, Superintendent of the Pewaukee School District, 2013 Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award recipient. Joanne Sternke, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Julia. It's nice to be with you today.
Understand that you are just sharing your story here, there, and everywhere. And what a story you have to share, Joanne.
Well, how nice of you to say. It's a great opportunity to talk about using a performance management system that has worked for us and I believe can work for many, many organizations.
And Joanne, one of the questions that I heard just a few weeks ago, what is the incentive to do this? Baldrige is hard.
Well, I think that while some people will say it's hard, I think it's the right work, even if it's difficult work. And I wouldn't say it's overly difficult because I think it gives you a clear focus of what you work on. You tend to your people, categories 1, 3, and 5 of the criteria, your leaders, your customers, your employees. You look at your plan, category 2, you make sure you have a plan. You make sure you're focusing on your results. You make sure you're focusing on really understanding your operations. And by tending to all those areas, and sure, those are big things to be looking at, but by doing that, I always say the rising tide raises all ships, and by focusing on those 7 areas, you make your organization better. So yes, it's a lot to look at, but it's all for the right reason.
And making your organization better. And of course, the student is your customer. Joanne, please share with our listeners some of the results from your school district, Pewaukee School District.
Oh, I'm happy to. very proud of our school district. We're a small school district of about 2,800 students located outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We've taken our graduation rate up around 5 points. We graduate 98% of our students, and we're very proud of that. But what I'm really proud of is that we send now not 68% onto a 2 or a 4-year college, but 93% with higher ACT scores than any of our comparables. So, and that's what our mission is, to open the door to kids' futures, and we're doing so. But we do that by tending to the operational side of the house, making sure that we're using less energy, 22% less energy than we've used 5 years ago. Because if we save money in that operational side of the house, we can funnel more resources into teaching and learning and better meet our mission and open doors for those kids that really are our future. So those are a couple of the things that I'm proud of.
Well, I'm very proud of you, Joanne. Wow, those are incredible results. Now, every school district has a school board, and one of the challenges I hear is, getting the school board on board. Tell our listeners how your school district works with the school board, and how maybe we can give some tips to other school boards across the nation.
Well, this is where I think the Baldrige criteria and performance excellence really helps a board, because all boards really need to guarantee that they are making sure that they are meeting student needs, and they care about student achievement first and foremost. And Baldrige gives us a good data system and what we call a dashboard to show the board how our students are doing. So it helps them be more accountable. They can speak very articulately about our student achievement in all of our schools, because we present it to them in a way that they understand and the way our citizens understand. But they also need to be responsible for the operations, the policy making of the district, and focus on the right things. And there's no doubt focusing on leadership and customers and making sure that we all speak that same language about serving our customers is important. And the criteria gives us the framework and gives the board the framework to do that. So I think it's the right framework for a Board of Education to look at, to know what are the things that they should be tending to in order to attain better results. And again, that's focusing on leaders and really knowing what a good plan is. I'm blessed. I have a board that has been putting a strategic plan in place for over 20 years in the school district. They love our strategic planning process, and they make it accountable for our citizens to know what we're doing and what we're heading toward. So I think to focus that, a board needs to know what to be focusing on, or else they can focus on too much. And so by focusing on the plan, by focusing on what the results are, they really can be a better Board of Education.
Well, thank you, Joanne. I agree. So, Joanne, maybe there's a superintendent listening to the show today, and he or she is saying, wow, this sounds great. How do I get started?
Oh, well, in your state, Julia, they work with a terrific state organization in Quality, New Mexico. That's how we got started in Wisconsin with our state organization. And just not by doing an application, but by learning what the criteria is. How is this management criteria something that can make my organization better? Find out, work with a state organization in quality, and learn what those quality principles are, and start to understand how you can apply them in your own organization. And if you're a school superintendent, I challenge you to find a better criteria that helps all facets of your organization improve, from your buildings and grounds to your human resources to, of course, the most important thing, student achievement. Like I say, if you want get your hands on the Baldrige criteria for performance excellence, utilize your state organization to learn about it, and start to put those puzzle pieces together and figure out how you can leverage that to make your organization better.
Wow. Joanne Sternke, by the way, you were an absolute hit at our Learning Summit last month in New Mexico, and I know that you are traveling and making presentations across the nation. So And Joanne, I have this memory of you at the Baldridge ceremony up there on stage, just so proud, big smile, and with your team in the audience, and so proud of you and your team and everything that you're doing on behalf of the students of the Pewaukee School District. So, are you having fun?
Oh, we are. It's a great time of year. This is the time of year where there's lots of celebrations. We're getting ready for graduation. It's that time of year when you see your mission in action. Kids getting admitted to colleges, going where they want, and it's a great time. And really, I know that we're delivering a better, high-quality education because we've been using this process. And I think that's what makes me most proud. We've got great people doing great work on behalf of our mission.
Excellent. Joanna, I must ask you about a hot topic, with education reform taking place different throughout the country. Teacher evaluations is really, a hot topic, and teachers and principals and, state departments and all this, lots of challenges there. What is your advice or your experience?
Well, I think it's twofold. I think that we do need a system of evaluation that helps people be accountable to do good work, but that isn't what compels people to do good work. That just measures the work. What we really need to do is make sure that we understand what we want our workforce to do, which is really understand those, I call them user requirements. What are the important things teachers need to teach? How do they do it? And make sure that our teachers are engaged. Teachers want to do good work. They look to us as leaders to give them good systems. And we need to first and foremost engage our people with a good system that helps them be accountable to do good work. Engagement comes first. People have to love what they do and understand what it is they need to do in order to be really very, very good at what they do. And it's our job as leaders to create a workforce that understands their role and is motivated to do a great job. The tool by which we measure it, we're spending a lot of time on right now. And while that's important, we also need to remember that we need to engage our workforce and understand where we're giving them the tools they need, not just in an accountability tool.
Joanne, you have some excellent resources on your website. You want to share that with our listeners, please?
Oh, I'd be happy to. In an area called Continuous Improvement on the Pewaukee School District website, you will see all of our strategic plans, our dashboards. You will also see our Baldridge applications and our feedback reports. I believe that anyone can learn from looking at what another organization's journey. So I encourage people. We've got lots of great video clips also of people talking about Plan, Do, Study, Act and what engagement is and those types of things. I believe that if you're looking for just how did one school district do it? Take a look at our website. I think you'll find resources that may help in a journey.
Joanne Sternke, I told you, she's a rock star. And Joanne is coming back to New Mexico next April to share her story and best practices at the Quality New Mexico Learning Summit. Joanne Sternke, the results that you just shared earlier are just incredible. When you mention 98% graduation rate.
Yes.
Wow. And what was the other item here? Oh, about the 93% when your students are moving on to college or a two-year community college, 93% of your students are moving on in that direction. And then also...
And we just know that gives them more options. Students with a two-year degree have more earning power than students with just a high school diploma. And God forbid if a student doesn't have a high school diploma, what their earning power is. That's our job. We need to create good citizens that will be productive people, and that's our job.
And your mission statement again, Joanne, is?
Opening the door to each child's future.
Thank you, Joanne.
That's what we believe in.
There you go. Thank you so much, Joanne Sternke. You're one of our best friends, and you're a rock star, and we are so proud of you and so delighted that you're a friend of Quality New Mexico. Thank you, Joanne.
Sure am.
Thank you,
Julia.
Thanks.
Go Quality New Mexico.
There you go. Thank you, Joanne Sternke, for joining us on the show today. We'll be back with Performance Excellence USA on News Radio 770 KKOB. Me llamo Julia. You can find Quality New Mexico, the organization that I lead, at qualitynewmexico.org. We'll be right back. We're delighted to have a very, very special friend with us on the show today, Dr. Joanne Sternke. She is the superintendent of Pewaukee School District in the state of Wisconsin. Did I say that right, Joanne?
You did. I believe you say Pewaukee down in New Mexico.
Yeah, we have a Pewaukee here, right?
We use a long E. We say Pewaukee here.
Pewaukee. Okay. Pewaukee School District. Joanne Sternke, superintendent, a 2013 Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award recipient. And Joanne, what an incredible story you have to share. Because again, education is the most important thing. Parents are just I think parents everywhere. Certainly I have 5 grandchildren, Joanne, and you want the best education for your kids. It's the future of our country, the competitiveness, Joanne, of our nation. And so what are your thoughts?
Well, you mentioned a key stakeholder group, parents. And I think that every school district should really understand what are those key things that parents are looking for in your school. Our parents, when we've surveyed them, they want our schools to be safe, they want a high-quality education, and they want great communication from our schools. So those are the things we tend to with great ferociousness and make sure we're measuring and providing and able to document how are our schools safe? How are we delivering a quality education? Parents want to be involved, and we need to give them the information that they can use to really weigh our schools. Just like we say, students are a customer, parents are our key customers as well. And so we need to be working with parents and really understanding what they want from us. Just like you would in the business world, understand what your customers want. It's just as important for us in schools to understand what are those key drivers that help them make the decisions they make about where to send their children.
Joanne, one of the incredible opportunities, professional development opportunities, is the examiner training that all the state programs offer, and then, of course, the National Baldrige program. You've had the opportunity. You have given your time and talent to participate in this process. So as I think about how do we get smart, how do we understand this criteria for performance excellence, being an examiner is one way to learn it, right?
Well, I am a believer in becoming an examiner, partly for the service that you're providing another organization, but also so that you can speak the language of improvement. It's important for me. As a leader, we role model what we want people to do. I serve as an examiner right now on the national and our state program, and I ask that all my senior leaders at least go through examiner training and examine 1 year. Many are doing more than that. But I do it so that when we sit at the table, we can all talk the same language of improvement, and you've experienced it firsthand by looking at an application, by going on a site visit and seeing how that organization works. Oh my goodness, is that valuable learning experience. But that, to me, is the utmost way to learn. Not everyone needs to be an examiner, but if you want to really understand the criteria and see it work, becoming an examiner is a tremendous learning experience for you, and you are offering consulting service to that organization by giving them good feedback on how they can improve. It's great service, and it's great learning.
And again, in that continual learning that we're all involved with, I should say, in every single day, learning, getting better, and certainly education and business and government and healthcare, nonprofit organizations. So an excellent opportunity for us, Joanne, to take advantage of the services that all the state programs have, like the Wisconsin program in New Mexico and Missouri and all the programs across the nation, all modeled after the National Baldrige program. And serving as an examiner, superintendents in New Mexico, my New Mexico, this is an opportunity for you and principals and teachers and retired teachers, retired superintendents to participate, school board members. What an incredible opportunity, Joanne, that we have to learn and get better, and all the time, just as you have you stated it so beautifully. It's that learning and hands-on, and then you speak the same language with your team. Joanne?
Oh, that's the best part, Julia. Being able to have everyone at the table, whether they're a principal or or a person that runs buildings and grounds or our transportation people, really understanding and speaking that same language, it's wonderful.
Joanne Sternke, superintendent of the Pewaukee School District in Wisconsin. Just was a hit here at and she's been to New Mexico several times at our Learning Summit, and she's on the agenda for next April. And an incredible website with a lot of resources, Joanne, that you have, and always sharing and mentoring, and wow, what a role model you are for all of us. And so people always want to know about graduation rates because it's all about the kids and the students, and an incredible graduation rate of 98%. That's amazing. That is just amazing,
and
Joanne.
It's because we focus on the word each student, opening the door to each student's for future. So we literally adopt kids and make sure that they have an adult in the building that is shepherding them through to the end, and that's an important part of what we believe in here.
Wow. And one of the things you mentioned earlier, Joanne, about the operations, the energy savings, so that you save the money there that then you can put into the classroom. So you mentioned the energy savings of 22%. Tell us a little bit more.
Well, it's been a two-pronged process. One is by really systematically replacing older functioning, not as efficient used equipment, but more importantly is we've just really giving out energy tips, and we give out what we call STAR Awards to people that do just very simple things in their classroom every night. Turn out their lights, shut off their computer, and then on breaks, unplug all of those extra electrical pieces. I'm amazed at how much we've saved just by those simple things that we do at home. Wear a sweater and, those types of things, and turn the heat down just a little bit. But by just really but not only just saying that's what we want done, but by having someone put a sticker on the door when that's something we observe at night, people really taking tips to use less energy and recognizing that, it's been a tremendous thing that we've done. We do the same thing with paper printing to conserve how much paper we use and how much copying we do. We acknowledge and reward when we see huge reductions in our schools, and it's really nice to see those everyday decisions get validated and rewarded. That's what employees like to see, is notice those small things, because those small things become big things when lots of people take part.
Joanne Sternke, thank you so much for for sharing everything and on your great resources on your website. We're so proud of you, Dr. Joanne Sternke, and your entire team at Pewaukee School District in the state of Wisconsin, 2013 Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award recipient. Oh, what an incredible journey, Joanne. Thank you so much, my dear.
Thank you.
We'll see
Go
you.
Quality New Mexico.
We'll see you again.
right.
Thank you again to Joanne Sternke and to Raina Knox for joining us on the show today. Education, hot topic. We love it. Great opportunity to make things better. And it's Quality New Mexico right here in New Mexico. We can help the educational sector, business education, government, healthcare. QualityNewMexico.org. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.